Hey there, welcome back to the shop. So we have a few leaf blowers here with running issues. We have an MS250 with a starting issue. We have a 362, and we have a Husky 51 with a running issue. Right now, let's get this Stihl MS362 on the bench. Well, good morning. Welcome back to my workbench. My name is Erica, and I'm so happy that you're here today. Today on the bench, we have a Stihl MS362. These saws came non-M-Tronic and M-Tronic, and this is an M-Tronic version. The customer who dropped this off said that it's missing some parts. The rod that controls this master control lever, that rod is missing, possibly some other stuff missing. He said, give it a service, give it a looking over, and replace the bar and chain. And he left me, it looks like a new bar and chain for it. He also said that he traded this saw for a set of tires and that this saw came from a high school small engine class. So that's why some parts are missing. They weren't sure how to put it back together and some of the parts got lost. So he said he has never seen this saw cut wood before. Come along with me and let's find out what a 362 that's been in a high school shop class and is missing parts looks like. Well, here we are with the Stihl MS362. We'll just do a quick walk around on this saw, looking for anything broken, missing, plastics, handles. We know that that lever is not doing anything. I don't see any missing hardware. That's a 16-inch bar and chain. That chain has never been sharpened. The white serial number sticker, being that it's still there and you can read it, that is a sign generally of light use. Usually that sticker would be long gone. The saw, other than being dirty, looks to be light use. If we clean this thing up, it would probably clean up like a new saw. Chain brake works. Don't see any missing hardware. He said there are some parts missing, so we will see what we can find. Well, first things first, let's pull the bar and chain off this thing, and then we will dig into it. So this saw has captive bar nuts, so those bar nuts stay with the clutch cover. That rim sprocket has some wear on it, so it probably should be replaced when we put that new bar and chain on. Let's pull the top cover off this and see what is hiding underneath. Okay, so you can see that the rod that goes from this is missing. The contact spring is missing as well. Air filter is not screwed on. What's going on here? This thing is not, oh, none of this is attached properly. You see that? Someone's had this, all this off and they haven't put it back on together right. That would have been sucking dirt through there. I think I have another one of these saws nearby here that we can compare to. Let me just go grab it. Okay, so we've got our saw plugged into the computer here, and it's given me some strange data. The computer's telling me this saw only has 8 hours of runtime on it, 158 successful starts. That's kind of strange for only 8 hours. This saw has never been plugged in before. It was sold brand new in April of 2016 to a homeowner, and it is not stolen. Here is a 362. This saw is actually in our lineup. We're going to look at this one someday soon, hopefully. But there's the rod, and there's a contact spring right there, and that's all missing on this saw. We may borrow this stuff from this saw and put it on this saw. I can reorder those parts for this one. See, everything is lined up and tight here on this one. And this saw is, you see that gap there? I don't know if it was a saw hit. Actually, look at the air filter. The air filter is cracked. But the top cover, it's not broken. A little bit marked up, but not broken. Maybe it's not the original top cover. Maybe, who knows? You almost wonder if this thing wasn't smacked. So we'll use this saw to steal parts from to get this one back up and going. And these black air filters, you can't buy these anymore. When this saw was brand new, it would have came with a black filter. Now these are white when you buy a new one. So it is probably the original filter. It doesn't look very dirty, but it is broken. So I think the first thing we should do is take this apart a bit, make sure nothing's broken, and then put it back together properly, and we'll get some parts off that other 362, get this reassembled, and see if this thing runs. That thing doesn't look to be broken. I don't know if this is going to be a short video or a long video. When I seen the saw sitting there and it just said service it, bar and chain, replace rod, I thought no big deal, but who knows what we're going to find here. So that was just one 8mm nut I just took out of there. Now we'll get these two grommet things. We just got to pop the plastic pegs out of it. Okay, so we've got both of them popped out on both sides. One more 8mm nut to take out. I see the winter summer shutter is in the winter position. So before I forget, I might as well just flip that over right now. There we go. Okay, so I peeled this contact spring off of that other saw and that rod. So while this is loose, let's install this spring. That just slides on there. There, it's back on there. Back on there properly now. Nothing looks broken in there. It just wasn't put together right. So these are kind of finicky to try to reinstall because you are fighting these grommets and pegs. You're fighting those threads, trying to line all this up. When I tried to line up this one first and then attach it, I was having a hard time lining this up properly. But then when I lined up this one first, this grommet and peg, and then got on my threads, I was able to line it up much easier. So if this isn't lined up properly, all of the dirt would just suck right through that gap. It wouldn't be going through the air filter, right into the fresh air charge. Okay, well that looks good. We've got our spring back on. So let's reassemble this a bit and we'll take this thing outside and see if it runs. So there's the control rod that I took off the, we'll call it a part saw for now. It's not going to be a part saw, but for this moment it's going to be. I will order new parts for it. So we'll hook that up to the carburetor. And then into the lever. Okay, so I've got the rod installed there. It fits kind of loose. It doesn't snap in there. It's pretty loose. I think someone's been reefing on this pretty good. And it is not working properly. So there's why they were reefing on it. See that? I can help it, but something's bent or not quite right here. Oh, look at that. Watch the choke plate down in there. It is all bent out of shape. That should be flat, not curved. Okay, let's take it apart again. Probably one of you watching noticed that that was bent when I had this all apart, but you didn't say anything, so I put it back together. Next time, speak up. And I did take the serial number off of this saw and my part saw to compare them. And this is the right rod. There have been many versions of the MS362 over the years, and these rods have changed. So I just wanted to make sure that we have the same parts, and we do. Okay, so rod back off, and let's take this apart again. Tyler tells me that 362s have 4 different control rods. We're going to pull the carb off this thing. I'm going to dump the fuel out of it. What kind of swamp water is that? It has a white fuel filter in there. It should have the orange one. Okay, so I can see where this is going. Put that back on for now. Let's pull that plug out. And the plug is not tight. Spark plug was just sitting in there. Okay, the piston and cylinder look fine, so we're just going to put that plug back in. Just check the gap on their plug. And actually, that gap is too close. Look at that. Is that electrode missing material? Let me grab a new plug. There's a new NGK. See the difference? I think that's missing material off of it. I don't like the looks of that. And he did say give this thing a service, so we'll give it a new spark plug. NGK BPMR7A, gapped properly. These NGKs seem to always come out of the box gapped perfectly. That's my experience anyways. I know that may not be everybody's experience. Today we'll use the carb stand that Stu made for me and mailed to me. Thank you, Stu. So we are going to remove that bent choke plate. I've got it wired open, make it easier for me to get it out of there. Well, that's a problem. I wonder how they did that. Well, I'm no blacksmith, but I've straightened that back out. It is flat and straight now. A little bit of blue Loctite, and let's put this thing back together. I just put the carb back on because I want to see if I have this operating like it should again before I go any further. There, so it is working like it should now. We're going to pull that carb off for the third time, and we're going to replace the fuel solenoid valve. I know I could have put that on while I had the carb off, but I wanted to make sure that I had this issue sorted out before we did anything else to this saw. It'll just take me a second to pull this off, and we'll continue on here. And hopefully we'll have this thing up and running in no time. Okay, so this black part here, that's the part that we're going to replace with a new green one. There's our instructions. And there's the part number. Let's get this plug out. Okay, so we'll let that just hang there. Whenever you're working around these wires, you want to pull on the connectors. Don't yank on the wires. They're very fine and very sensitive and easy to damage. Now we'll pull that screw there out. That is a T10. Okay, so there's our old one. And the new one you want to leave in the package till the moment you go to use it. Okay, so you hold it by that, so you don't want to get your fingers down in any of these holes. And there we go. It is installed. Now we'll just put it all back together. And we'll plug our connector back in, being careful with the wires. That's all there is to it. Let's put the carb back on this. Hey, before I reattach all of this plastic stuff, I'm just going to go and give everything a bit of a blowout here. I'll be right back. There, I just gently blew compressed air around there to get everything loose out. This thing isn't here for a spa treatment. It's just here to get back up and running, but we got to get all that loose dirt out of there before we put it back together. Okay, so that's all hooked back up. Wires tucked up into their spot. Okay, everything is lined up and attached properly. Both grommets are back in place. And we'll put this air filter on just for now to take it out and see if it runs, but we will be replacing it. It is broken. And that works properly now. Before, the way it was, when I first looked at it, the air filter wouldn't fit because this wasn't on properly, because this wasn't on properly, but it's working perfectly now. Okay, so that there is very likely the original white fuel filter, and we're going to replace it with the new orange style. These filter much better. There was an issue with those white ones in the M-Tronic saws. Okay, new orange fuel filter. So the fuel that I dumped out of this, it looks like swamp water, but this is actually Stihl Moto Mix. So this is canned fuel, 50-to-1. We'll just put that back in. It's expensive stuff, but $1 a drop. I'll just leave a little bit in there. It has a few flakes of dirt in it. well, let's just make sure there's bar oil in it. And then if it does run for us, we will be able to confirm that it's oiling. Okay, so missing parts replaced, fuel solenoid replaced, fuel filter, we've got bar oil, modal mix back in it. Let's step outside with it and see if this thing even runs. Meet you out there. Well, this thing runs pretty good. Let's take this side apart, inspect it, clean it, and grease it. Clip, washer, rim sprocket, which we will replace with a new one. It's got some wear on it. Bearing. The clutch, we're looking at the springs, the shoes, looking for anything broken, missing. Everything looks tight. Looks good. It's not that bad, but we'll take this thing out and give it a cleaning. I'll pull the top cover back off. We'll pull the recoil off and we'll take it outside. The top cover has to be off to get the recoil off this saw. So that can go out for a cleaning. That's not too dirty. Okay. Tyler will give this thing a clean up and I'll get my workbench cleaned up and then we'll get this thing back together. Well, there, our 362 is back from a little cleaning. Not a pressure wash, but just a little degreasing and a blow off with compressed air, and then a wipe down. It's not here for the full spa treatment, just the mini spa treatment. So let's put this whole side back together. It's obvious that this saw has very low hours on it. Kind of makes you wonder how a MS362 gets purchased 9 years ago and only has 8 hours on it. Those 3 pieces of hardware I just put in are all T27s. 1, 2, 3. And while we're standing here, we'll just make sure that the rest of the hardware is tight. Okay, so our needle bearing looks to be in excellent condition, so we'll grease it and put it back on. Okay, just some all-purpose grease. This is something that should be done on a regular basis with any chainsaw. The clutch drum's in good condition. I'm just gonna wipe it out. There's a little buildup in it. There we go. And we're gonna line our notch up with the worm gear arm, which you won't be able to see, but if you look in that gap, you'll see it. It's right by my finger. If I zoom in, you might see it. Line that up with the notch in your drum. There we go. And we did note outside that the saw is oiling no problem. New rim sprocket. Washer. And our clip, which looks to be in good condition. If it wasn't, if it was loose, really easy to get off, you would use a new one. There. Cleaned, inspected, greased. Replace the rim sprocket. That side looks good. Everything is tight. This saw has 2 sets of magnets on the flywheel. I'm pretty sure that all M-Tronic saws do, but I could be wrong about that. And if I am, tell me in the comments that I'm wrong. Okay, so the coil gap is perfect. Just make sure that our hardware is tight, which it is. Okay. Got our recoil cleaned up. Okay, broken black air filter gone. New white air filter. There's the part number. Okay, well, our 362 is back together, fully serviced. Now we are going to do a reset on this outside, and then we'll put a bar and chain on it, and we will go cut with it. I'll meet you outside for the reset.
So this is an older version 2 M-Tronic chainsaw, so there's a different reset procedure for this one versus the newer version 3. So brake on, put it to start. I'm going to start it on the start position, the triangle, and leave it run for 90 seconds. I'm not going to touch the trigger. So after you change the fuel solenoid, what the service manual says is to do that reset procedure so the fuel solenoid and the control unit, which is the ignition coil, can sync up together, basically. It's kind of nice with Stihl, you don't have to go back to the dealer to do this. I love that about this. Coming to the dealer for resets and whatnot, I don't like that. I don't know if some brands you have to do that or not, but thanks Stihl.
Okay, so this came in with a 16-inch bar and chain, and he wants a 20-inch bar and chain put on it, which he has supplied for us. So let's throw a bar and chain on this, and then we'll meet you out in the woodpile. Hey Tyler, there was just an MS260 post on Facebook Marketplace for $150. It runs with fuel poured down the curb, one owner.
One owner.
Nothing's one owner unless it comes from a little old lady and has the original receipt. Oh, and I've been saw shopping. These 362s, I believe I've already showed you these in a previous video, but I don't think you've seen this yet. 461, 440 Arctic, and there is my 026 that has low compression. One owner from a little old lady. Now that might be a one owner saw. That is a specimen. Tyler, are you ready?
Yeah.
Get geared up.
works pretty good. I love M-Tronic saws. Don't be afraid of buying them. They work really good. Those fuel solenoids, they're just you got to consider them a maintenance item. That's all.
Well, this 362 runs and cuts excellent. When the customer dropped this chainsaw off, he said it is missing parts. It was missing a control rod. It was missing a spring. The carb wasn't put back on correctly. He said give it a full service, and he mentioned that it came from a high school shop class. So he also said he has never seen it cut wood. He traded the saw for a set of tires, and depending on what those tires were worth, he may have got himself a good deal here. So what did we do to this thing? We replaced that rod and that spring. I peeled them off a saw that I have, a 362. I'll order the parts for this. We replaced the spark plug, the air filter, and the fuel filter. The fuel filter is the original white one. It's supposed to be the new orange one. The air filter is broken, and it's the original black one. The new ones are white. And we replaced that spark plug with a new one. We also replaced the fuel solenoid. These are not expensive. You can kind of think of these as a service item on your M-Tronic chainsaw. Replaced the worn rim sprocket, and I've got his 16-inch barn chain here that I'll give him back, and he's got the 20-inch barn chain on it that he provided. And that's about it. We serviced it, we cleaned it, we greased it, we tested it, and he has himself a really nice working MS362. We plugged this chainsaw into the computer, and it told us that this saw only has 8 hours of runtime on it, and that it has successfully started 158 times. That seems a little bit unbelievable. I don't know, but that's what it said. It also told us that this saw has never been plugged in prior to me plugging it in today. It was sold brand new in April of 2016. So this thing is 9 years old with 8 hours on it. It was sold brand new to a homeowner, and no, it is not stolen. And if that wasn't enough chainsaw content for one day, I will leave some links up in the top corners of the screen. You can click on them and watch more videos, and I'll get back to work making another video for you. So I guess that's it for the 362 that's missing parts. It's on to the next chainsaw. What am I going to work on next? I have a Husky 51 over there in lineup. I have a whole bunch of Stihls. I've got some more Huskies sitting over here. I've got some Dolmars, and I've got a new batch of saws that just came in, an 026, a 440, a 461, and some more 362s. I'm going to have to make some decisions on what's coming up next. You let me know what you want to see. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.